and we'll hope for the best. So it's still preparing windows. And I've gone ahead and started the meeting. So once you've got VMware up and going, you're here, hurrah. Now you can go on Google Chrome, go over and log into Canvas if you haven't already. And then in the announcements area, you'll see the link for the screencast for today, so you can see what we've got here. There's that nasty little logger print, and let's click it off. Okay. So hopefully this will work. Now, today we're going to work through pages 232 through 235 of the POTC text, so you should have it with you and open up to follow through. And we're going to see a little bit about the multiple functionalities that are built into each of these Office products. And we're going to do a mail merge, and we're going to use Microsoft Word as a platform for our mail merge, and then we're going to use Microsoft Excel as the data that we'll use, and we're going to use that Excel file like a table from a database, and then we're going to create a form letter and do a mail merge and go from there. The good thing for you, it would not be a bad idea for you to look at some of the pages prior to that, because it walks you through the mail merge function, and we have a little bit more time, we'll do a couple of other things. So you should, hopefully you can see my screen and what we're doing. Let me explain to you one more time why I'm doing what I'm doing. The audio capability here doesn't work, and so even if I recorded a screencast, you wouldn't be able to hear anything, so there's no point in me doing that and posting it so you can go back and look at it later. So I'm using this to record. I'm trying to show you here how to get to the VMware, and then you can go on in and log into Canvas and then click on the invitation and come into the meeting and see what's on my screen. Make sense? I don't run the train, and I'm not the conductor. I'm a passenger on it, just like you, hurtling cliff to cliff, looking over the edge going, it's a long ways down there. I think we've been there before. Okay, now, before I do this, I wanted to share with you really quickly about the analytics package in Canvas. You've heard me probably talk about that, but I want to just, I'm going to do a quick search. And show you what Canvas Analytics does and what it's all about. And then they have an analytics beta. Canvas records your activities. If you're looking at my screen, you can see I can look at a given course. Then I can start to look at participation. I can look at participation by date. I get a listing. I can look at logins. I can look at submissions. I have all types of data. I get table data that shows me your actions taken, the number of page views. Like I said, I can see logins. I see submissions of work when they were submitted. There's no question about the date and time stamp. When something's submitted, it's submitted. And when you log in, it records that. Now, I look at that as a whole more than anything when I get to that situation where I have someone who comes to me, several assignments down and says, well, I'm 5 assignments behind. Gee, I don't know how that happened. Well, it'll tell me why. You didn't log in, you didn't participate, you didn't submit any work, etc. Now, this course is set up such that if you're, for example, out of town today, and we've got a few people who've joined us out here. We've got 4 other people. You can see the screencast, so you don't have to miss class. Or if you're traveling and it's posted there, which will be posted this afternoon, you can still see it. You won't miss any class. Okay? You can take your exams by going into Canvas, and you can take them remote. I've done this because about 40% of you or better are athletes, and so I don't want you to get penalized or put you through a lot of pain in terms of saying, well, you have to do a makeup exam or any of that stuff. The truth is, because I have this set up and it's already here for you to use, you should work ahead, okay? There's really no excuse for you not to. So I wanted to let you see that, the type of information that I get, and I look at this, okay? So I look at it as a whole, and there's a thing called Canvas Beta that gives me the entire class. So there's no question if you submitted an assignment or not. There's no question if you attended class, because attending classes, you log into Canvas, into the room. There's no question about how much time or effort you spent. It's logged, it's recorded there. There's really nowhere, there is nowhere to hide. So the truth is, when you come to me, and if you're several assignments down, or you haven't been participating, or you haven't logged in for several days, if let's say you haven't logged in, I can go back and check and see, because you may have worked ahead. Okay, so I have that data there for me. I do that for a reason, to make sure that you stay on track to finish your degree, to make sure that you get the course material, and to let us focus upon understanding what we're doing, as opposed to making this yet another class where I penalize if you're not in a seat, etc. You can be here logged in. If you have to live stream, I really want you here physically in the classroom. And if, say, for example, you were sick today, it's going to be posted so you can see the lecture. So, and I don't do like a lot of faculty do, that is, take off for a conference for a week and then have someone sit in a chair and watch you take exams. You get the full money with me. You don't miss any class sessions. I'll have some projects for you at the end of the course, but I'll be online that day, and I'll be there available to help you. You're also going to see some things in there like invitations to virtual office hours. Avail yourself of those, because I can do the same thing I can do sitting in my office over here in Bailey as my office over in Oklahoma City. Okay? Fair enough? All right. I am more interested, when we get into it, I'm more interested in you learning and understanding than I am in trying to sort or filter you with a grading system. Life will take care of that. Now, we're over here on week 2, and we're working in the POSI text, and we're going to cover hands-on exercise on mail merge, and that's going to cover page 232 to 235. We're going to do a couple of things here. First, we're going to use Word as if it's a database that can give us a report. We're going to use Excel as if it's a table that we can use to import into a database. So Excel can not only work as a productivity tool in the sense of a word processing tool, it's got that mail merge capability built into it. So I'm going to start over there on page 232, and they tell us, first of all, to select a recipient list. I'm going to do a couple of things. First, I'm going to take this file called WO3H letter. Everybody see that? Okay. I'm going to download that to my desktop. And when I'm working in Chrome, I like to show it in the folder and then flip it on my desktop. So there's the letter. Now, I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to save it. I'm going to enable the editing. Okay. And then I'm going to save that on this PC, on the desktop, and I'm going to rename it WOH3, and I'll put it on the desktop, and I'll put my first and last name behind it. That's the letter, the form letter that we're going to populate. Okay. Now, just to be sure that it's no longer a temporary file, I'm going to open it back up, and I should be good. Got it? When you download a file from Moodle, from Canvas down to your desktop, because the Canvas has security features built in, that file is a temporary file, and it acts like a temporary file until you do something with it. Okay, so you get it out of that edit only, you get it out of a non-edit status to where you own it, and then of course you can upload it. Okay, now we go back over here, and there's a second file we're going to get. Okay, and that file is called trustees, and that's an XLSX file. That's an Excel file. And I'm going to download that file. And as I usually do, and I use Chrome, I'm going to open it up and show it in the folder. Then I'm going to throw it on my desktop. With me so far? So far, so good? If you're beamed in on watching the recording, you should be seeing what's going on. And I would encourage you to do that. Now, if you get lost or something, remember this. You can always, after I post the video, the screencast, you can always go over there and take a look at it. It'll be a YouTube video. And if you have a question, here's what I always encourage you to do. Write down the hour and the minute, the point in the video where you have a question. And then I'll try to answer it for you. Fair enough? Okay. Now, I've got this trustee document called trustee, and let's open it up for just a moment. Okay. And I'm going to enable the editing. And what I have here is basically a set of addresses or records. So I'm using this Excel file, this Excel workbook. I'm using this worksheet like a table in a database. Come over to column E, come to cell E1, and here we're going to change this. We're going to make these understandable column captions, okay? And so you kind of this thing says address 1, we're going to put street address. Okay? Now, what I'm doing is I'm sparing us some of the work that the authors want to have us put through to do some editing of this once we're in mail merge mode. And you can see that for yourself. But frankly, if you've put the table together and you've populated as you should, or let's say you got this file, I could have had a table or a query in Access, Microsoft Access, and exported this and turned it into an Excel file. You always want to make sure the records, so you don't have to go through this business here of editing the data source, all that stuff. I will do some maybe in terms of putting it in alphabetical order or something like that, but adding records and all that, that should be done before you start the mail merge. So we've got that street address. Now on column F, on F1, that should be city. So a human being can understand it. So F1 should be city, and then G1 should be state. Okay, and then H1 should be zip code. So you're going to have the city, and then we'll have the zip code. Got it? Now, I skipped a step here on page 233 where they have you go through editing this list while you're dealing with it in mail merge. I don't like this for a simple reason. What it means is you were sloppy because you exported or grabbed an incomplete file or a table that's not that just isn't complete. That stuff like address 1, 2, 3, and 4 is incomprehensible to any normal human being. But you do and I do understand street address, city, state, zip code. Got it? Now I'm going to save this. And so I'll click on File. And I'm going to say, I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to save as this PC on desktop. And I'm going to call it WH3 Trustees. I'm going to put Harmon Keith. Okay. And I'll put that on the desktop, and I'll click Save. And I'm going to close it off for just a sec. And then I'm going to open it back up to make sure I can work with it. Okay. Now you have some records there. If you look there at cell D7, okay, you have some incomplete record on line 7. This will help us understand a little bit about what I mean by a record. When we work in a database, a record is a collection of fields that have some kind of relationship to each other, i.e. the columns. So you've got these 7 records here. This last one for Mr. Cobb is incomplete. So if you look down at the bottom of page 232, you're going to see the rest of that record. The company is going to be Tremont Insurance. Got that? And I think I probably misspelled insurance. I did. Okay. Now, when they say edit the data source there on page 233, cleaning the data up is a process that it should happen before you ever start to try to process it. What we're doing here is essentially, as I said before, we're using Word as if it's a database, and we're going to query a table and extract data from that table and then generate a report, and the report will be a form letter. So these are all meant to work in coincide with each other. So we have, and the address there is going to be Route 19. And the city is going to be Navarre. And that's going to be Nebraska. Okay. And then I've got the zip code is going to be the last one. That's going to be 68811. Okay. Now, let's go down to row 8 and let's add in one more recipient. And the last name will be Kruger. First name, Freddie. And the title will be Mr. And his company is Scary Inc. And his address is 666 Last Street. And then the city, we'll put him in Navarre, Nebraska. And because he is a media figure, a celebrated media figure, like gets invited to all the top parties and stuff. Now I know you're young people, and I know you sneak a peek at all those vodka commercials where everybody looks beautiful like models, and they're all having a big time and slugging down vodka. What they don't show you is 4 hours later when they're all fighting with each other, and 2 or 3 of them are sick, and the rest of them are very depressed. Alcohol has a curvilinear effect on a human being. First few drinks, you're looking good. Then you hit a point where you probably ought to stop, but you don't. And then as you take the rest of those drinks, all that happens is you just get sadder and sadder and sadder till all you want to hear is music about your puppy died, your car broke down, and your girlfriend ran off. So take it from me. Leave this stuff alone. So Freddie has his own zip code, which, as you would guess, is 66666. And if you go and look at the syllabus for this course, you may see an interesting picture in there. I was out in Hollywood once. I've got a bro thing with him going on. I got a picture of this together. All right. Well, just like this. Okay. So now we're ready to do some work with this here thing. So let's close this file, and it will ask us if we want to save the changes, and we will. So we save the changes. Now, if you want, you can go out and search on the internet and find a little thing of water and take this file and drag it and dip it in and see baptized. It's been saved, so it must be baptized. See how I'm integrating some faith with your knowledge. Got it? Yeah? Good. Very good. All righty. Now we're ready to have some big fun. Now we've downloaded the letter, the trustees letter, okay, and trustees list, excuse me, and we've also downloaded the letter, okay. So we're ready to go. But before we do this, I want to have a little bit of fun. Open up a new tab on your browser, and let's go find Easy Map Maker. One of the most remarkable things that's happening is that we're seeing a whole explosion of what we call geographic information system tools. A map is like a database. You can have a base map and then you layer stuff on top of it. When you watch the weather, for example, they have a basic topographical map, or maybe they'll have a political subdivision map that shows the cities and all that business and the highways. And then as whatever the conditions are, you'll watch the radar and the stuff comes into the Oklahoma City area or whatever. And then they'll have another where they go in, and if it's a tornado, they'll have that little Doppler radar thing that shows you the signature and the rotations, and you see the difference in the rotations. The air is going opposite, and that means a tornado is starting, etc. Ad infinitum. Well, we've got this little tool called Easy Map Maker, and let's click on this thing that says create a map from Excel data. Okay, now we're going to walk us through this step, and so I'm going to click create a map. Okay, now I'm going to diminish this for a moment, and I'm going to open up that trustees, list of trustees, okay, where I have all those addresses, and I'm going to start at column at A2, and I'm going to copy everything down to H8. So I'm going to copy the array A2 to H8, and I'm going to copy it. And let's see if Easy Map Maker will make us a map. And I'll click it, and then boom, and I'm going to make a map. And let's see if it's going to do something for us. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I thought we had something good here. Oh, locations are not, okay. Well, I thought we had enough data there to do this, but maybe not. Okay. Let me set the options for a minute. Oh, the headers. Earth domain. All right. They want headers too. Picky, picky, picky. All righty. Let's get the whole kit and caboodle. Last name, first name, the headers. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'll go back up. I'll paste it in here, and let's make a map if we can. All right. Well, I'm obviously not doing something right today. That's okay. We can play around with it another time. Now, I'm going to escape on this. I'm going to close the database, and now I'm ready to do my trustee's letter. Okay? Now, I have this thing, and I should have my letter. We're going to open it up. Okay? And we're going to do a mail merge. Some of you have maybe done this. Some of you maybe have not. And you'll click on the Mailings tab at the top. Okay? Just click on that. Click on that. Now you're going to see under the Mailings tab a thing that says Select Recipients. You see that? Got that one? All right. We're going to select the recipients, and we can type a new list if we want, or we can use an existing list. We're going to use an existing list. And we're going to look on our desktop. Okay. And we're going to scroll over and find that Excel file. Okay. And there it is, trustees, and I'm going to open it up. Now, and again, we're basically back on 282, and I'm going to select sheet number 1 because that's the one I'm using, so I'll click OK. All right. Now, I can also insert a greeting according to them. And so right under here, I'm going to insert a greeting line. And it will give me a drop-down menu. And I'm going to have dear. Okay. So I'll click all right. Okay, there's my greeting line. And then I'm going to press enter a couple of times. And here's where I'm going to start to build the fields. And it's going to say insert a merge field. And we're going to put in the first name. I think what we'll do is let's go ahead and let's see here. Existing list. Okay, recipient list. We get that. Now we're ready. All right. That's the recipient list. We're through with that. And now we're ready to, okay, we're over on page 234. We've done the greeting line. Okay. And let's just preview, and we'll preview this for just a moment, preview the result. Okay, it says, Dear Mr. Bracken. And so we're going to go back here, and we're going to insert some fields. Okay. And so I want to go back, and I want to insert the field in. So I'm on page 232, okay, and I'm going to press it, and I'm going to press an address block, and I'll move this up here for just a minute, and you're going to see the addresses for each of these people, and we'll click OK. Okay. Now, we want to come back here for just a moment. And I want to come up here to this top, to this greeting line. Okay, that's good. Now, we might want to reverse it, but we're okay with that. Now, we're going to click in here, and we're going to make sure that these fields all match up. Now, we can do it. We have so few of them, but it's going to show us how each one of them work. And if you look right up here, okay, find recipient, we can go to the start. And we can go to the end, the last recipient, and we can choose, we can punch in a number there if we want to see recipient number 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever. Got it? Now, the greeting line, okay, I probably want to come down here and put it under the address. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to come right here to the end of the address block, and I'm going to press enter a couple of times. And then I'm going to insert the greeting line. And we'll click OK. And we can start to see do these match up, and we're good. Everybody with me at this point? So I have this first record is this Dr. Curtis Bracken, and I have the address. I didn't put in their company. If I want to go ahead and add the company, I could come back in and put in a complete record set. But to just see the general idea of it, I just threw that list in there. And we're in preview mode. Everybody with me so far? Mail merge, if you do it all the time, it's going to be one of those functions in Excel. Pardon me, it's going to be one of those things in Word. You're just going to snap through it. Okay? I just don't do that many of them, and you may do one or two in your entire career. You may end up doing them all the time. If you're a marketing person, you probably will do it a lot, although my hunch is if you're doing a large mailing, you're probably going to have some type of professional client app or professional application that will manage it for you, because there's some real limits on what we can do here. So I've got this Mr. Bracken, and I can go from record to record and see and then if I'm ready, I can finish the merge and I can print it, or I can merge it to an Adobe PDF file and then print those out, however I care to handle them. Now, obviously, I skipped a lot of the step-by-step stuff. That's there for you if you choose to see that and try it on your own. Okay? I don't care. I skipped a few steps, but the main thing I did, main takeaway on this is number one, is I made absolutely certain that I had a clean set of data. You said, what are you talking about? When I went back here, clean and complete, and I made sure that this Excel file had all of the data. And you can toy around with this and go through that step. And there they have this person with their address, etc., and then the greeting and the company. So that would be up to you if you chose to go back and do it that way. And that would be pretty much it. Now I'm going to open this letter back up. Okay. Oh, I went to the one I worked on. Pardon me. Not the dummy letter. Okay, here we are. And I can also insert. Now I want the company name, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in and let's see here. I'm going to insert a merge field. And I have the company. In fact, I don't like what I've got here, so I'm just going to go back to this very first record. And I'm going to erase all of that. Okay? I'm just going to delete it. I've kept the greeting, and I'm going to come in under the date, and I'm going to insert the fields. And I'm going to insert the first name, and then I'm going to put a space, make it look prettier. And I'm going to insert the last name, and then I'm going to press enter. And then I'm going to insert the title, if they have one, I guess. No, I don't want that, because I've got Dr. Bracken down there already. So I'm going to delete that out. So I've got, and I'll press enter a little bit to give myself some more space. So I'm going to come in under this first name, and I'm going to insert a merge field. And let's say I've got the first name and the last name, and I'm going to put the company. Okay. Then I'm going to press enter. And I want the street address. Okay. and I'm going to put a comma and then a space, and then I'm going to insert the city. Okay, pardon me. I'm going to take the street address and then press enter, and I'm going to and then I'm going to add the city. Okay, then a comma and then a space, and then I'm going to insert the state. I'll put a space or two, and I'll insert the zip code. Okay, and I'll bring this up a little bit more. And I'll save it. Then I can look at the results I've got. Got it? The book walks you through some convoluted stuff there, like figure 3.31. If you're doing all that work when you're doing the mail merge, you're adding a record, you're editing records and all of this junk, trust me, you've already put yourself through more than you need to. If you just had the records set up like they should be in the first place, they're good to use. Okay? Now, since we talked a little bit about the interoperability of these tools, I'm going to save this, Jewel. We're going to play around with that Excel file just a little bit more. So I'm going to close off my letter. Now, this letter that you've got, that you've done the mail merge, this is what you upload. Okay? Got it? So where it says, hands-on number 4, upload me here. That's where you upload your letter. Got it? Now, we're going to go back down to the desktop. I'm going to close this off since I've got it done. And I'm going to look at this trustee letter. But I'm going to do something else. I'm going to import this Excel file into Microsoft Access. Now, you'll hear me say this several times. Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Access, Office Publisher, they're the mother of those applications. Microsoft designed them to be able to be used by anybody, particularly small businesses or individuals, but they're designed such that if you master them or you're comfortable using them, you can use any one of those types of tools regardless of the commercial product that you encounter when you're out at work. Okay? So, what we're basically doing is teaching you how to drive a car. So right now, you know more about how to handle Word and do a mail merge, and you understand a little bit more about databases than 80% of the people you'll ever work for or with. Because it's bypasses. Most people in business are very proficient with spreadsheets, but they don't yet understand databases. And that's where everything's happening. Okay, now, if you have Access 2016, like I have, I'm going to open it up, and you may need to go down to the bottom of you may need to go down into that little window and find Access there to open it up in VMware. I'm going to do a blank document. Now, I'm going to get this Excel file, and I'm going to snatch it, and I'm going to insert it here. So I'm going to click External Data, and you'll see here I can import or link. If I wanted to link to a table or to another database or to an Excel file, I can. If I want to import it, I just simply go through the import basis. You can see there's several types of files or tables I can import. So I'm going to import Excel, and I'm going to go find it. I'm going to go up to my desktop. Here we go. I'll scroll down here, and I'm going to get that jewel. There it is. And I'm going to click Open. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to import it. Now I'm going to get what we call the import dialog box. You say, why are you using this term dialog box? If you think about every time we want to do something, and it says, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to use? How do you want to format it, etc.? It's basically the machine with what we call a graphic user interface asking you, what do you want to do? It's actually the software, okay? So I'm going to show the worksheets. I've got worksheet 1, okay? And I'm going to import it. So I'm working with the import wizard, and I'm going to click next. How did I get that? Opened access, okay? And then I clicked on the external data tab and clicked on Excel, and then I navigate. I use the finder to navigate where the file's at. Got it? So you'll just navigate to your desktop and find it. So far, so good? Yes? Now, you will hear me say this many times. A database is designed to store and extract information. Really, a spreadsheet is designed to analyze information and visualize it. The two tools have distinct uses, although you can do some work with either one. The holy grail for everybody is the application that does it all. The closest thing that's out there is an application called SAS Visual Analytics. Some of you may use that. Some of you may use SAP. Some of you may use Oracle. You may work in a place where everybody uses Microsoft Access products. I don't know. But we're going to basically do an import process, which is the same no matter what application you're working with. Okay? So I'm going to click Next. Now I'm going to click Make sure that the front row headers. Now, one of the things I always caution you about is this. While this may seem a waste of your time, in about 8 weeks, you're going to be wishing you were listening. Because you'll get to do some data poaching, cleaning, importing, exporting, etc. Yes? Okay. If you got access open, okay, click on the External Data tab. And then you'll see the icon for an Access database or Excel. You want to click the Excel and then go use the browse. Go browse and find it. Question? Okay. What? Well, what we're going to, I'll just walk back through it again. Just do the whole process. All right. I'm going to click External Data. With me so far? Okay. Click the External Data tab. I'm in Access. And then I'll see the Excel icon. Got it? It says import an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to click OK. And then it says select the source and destination of the data. Got it? Now you see the little browse button? That's where I go looking for my file. And I'll find it on the desktop. Okay? I'll come down here and here's my file. And then I click OK. And now I'm at the dialog box. Got it? Yeah. Now I've selected what I want to import. The next thing we're going to do is a couple of steps to get the data arranged in a way that we can create a table. You with me?
Yeah. This is where I'll step right here.
Okay, yeah. So you found the browse.
Yeah,
okay. Good. Now I'm going to click OK. And I'll get the import spreadsheet. And I want to show, I have sheet 1, okay, which is where I had the data, and it will show me the data. You hear? Yes. It won't let you import it? You have to click, well, okay. Let's redo it again. Click on External Data. And you're over in Import and Link. You see that under the External Data tab? and you're in Access. And if you look, you'll see an external data tab. It doesn't have what? Okay, you may have a different version than what I've got on here. But you get if you get the new data source, but you want to import, and here it's showing me the icon for Excel. And then I go get the external data and I browse. And I go to the desktop, that's where I had it. And I'm going to scroll down here. And I'll click open. And now I'm at the Excel, I've got the external data. I'm ready to move into clicking OK. And it shows the worksheet. And I'm going to click Next. And the first thing I want to do is make sure that I check first row contains column headings. Those columns are also known as fields. They're also known as dimensions. You say, what do you mean? If you take a look at last name, first name, title, company, street address, city, state, zip, that's a record. It's a collection of dimensions or variables about this particular person who's on our list. Got it? That's why we call it a record. That's what's in a database. Now, I'm going to click first row contains column headings, and I'll click next. Now, I can go through field by field by field, and I can keep fields or delete them out and not include them. I'm going to include everything. So I'm going to click next. And then we come to this one where it says, let Access add a primary key. You want to click that. Access will play nice with you. Any database will play nice with you as long as every record is unique. It's part of a process we call normalization. If we have duplicate records, okay, we get anomalous data. We've got junk. Now, what Access is going to do is add a thing called an auto number, and so that record 1, record 2, record 3, and anytime you add to a table, it'll add a new number so that you have a unique record. Got it? So we've got we clicked let Access to add the primary key, and you'll see the ID over there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll click next, and I'm going to import it to a table. And instead of naming it sheet 1, I'm going to call it trustees. Well, I can do it. It's okay. I can change the name when it's there. So let's look at this sheet 1 right here. You see the shutter box to the left? Everybody see that? Now you'll see the little icon. That means it's a table. And I'll just edge this out a bit so you can see it in complete form. These are all the Access objects. Any database has the following. It has a table. It has a form, which is a thing you can use to put data into the table a little bit easier. When you go to Amazon and you click what you want to buy and how to pay it and all that stuff, you're filling out a form that populates a table of your purchases, a record. Now, they also have a thing called a query, and that's where I go into a database and I extract data out of a table or a set of tables. That's why we call it data mining, okay? And then you also have a function called a report. Most databases will also have a thing called a macro where I record keystrokes, and then you can go underneath the hood here and work with what we call Visual Basic for Access, VBA. We can write some code and play around with that type of stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's worth your time because you're going to be a decision maker, not a computer analyst or your key thing is your most important role will be to make sure that we collect the right data. And then when it's reported out to us, say in a spreadsheet or in a visualization like a table, a line graph, anything, that it makes sense. Got it? But to make sure that it works, where we have stuff in a database, we pull it out of what we call data warehouse, we process it and handle it, and then we report it, or it shows up on your screen, your phone, your tablet as a dashboard item. You want to make sure you've collected the right stuff, because if you haven't, you've wasted a lot of time and money. So let's click on this sheet 1, and we're going to rename it Trustees. Okay? And then let's open it up and take a look at it. And there it is. Now you see the ID there? That's called the primary key. That's what makes every single record unique. And it uses a thing called an auto number. It's a little bit ahead of ourselves, but so let's right-click on the trustee. You can either right-click on that trustees tab, okay? And go down to a thing called the design view. And you'll see how this table was put together. Now, you're going to notice a field name, then a data type. The ID, and I'm going to change that ID to trustee ID. Okay, so it makes more sense. And I have the last name, the first name. You'll notice those are all short texts there until we get to zip code, which is a number. If you're out in the real world and you're having to work with somebody on developing a prototype for a database, someone will input all this descriptive data about when it was created, why it was created, what it's supposed to mean. Down below, you have a thing called the field properties, and those become important because the way that we store data doesn't make much difference until you get to about 10 or 20 million records. The average company through a year a small business might handle 1 million to maybe 2 to 3 million records. The cost of server space are so negligible it doesn't matter. When you get to 50 million, 100 million, or 1 billion records, now you're talking real money, because you're paying probably Google for server space somewhere out in Dakota in a nice, cool, and secure room, for so many bits, really so many bytes of data. But for all intents and purposes, here, you've done a table. Now with this table, I could run a thing called a query. We're going a little bit beyond, but I think you can handle this. I'm doing crazy. So let's click on the tab there for trustees, and let's close it. And we'll say, yes, we want to save the changes. And then we'll click on that dummy table there, and we'll just close it. Now, we'll play around with this a little bit more. So let's click the Create tab. You see it? In the beginning was a table. And I looked at it and I said it was good. What book in the Bible is that from? Am I paraphrasing? Revelation. My life verse is Numbers 27:19 through 15. Obviously, it's bogus, because 19 through 15 makes no sense, right? Your Bible is organized like a database. Those people back in the 1200s and 1400s said, let's get this thing organized. So they tried to take the books and put them in some kind of semblance of order. Now, unfortunately, there are times, being good Christians, that if they disagreed and thought one was doing something wrong God wouldn't like, they might burn them at a stake, maybe kill them, pillage the village, that thing. But hey, usually they'd have a council of people get together. Your Bible is a miracle, written by author after author in all kinds of incredible places. So if you ever get a chance to go to the Bible Museum, you should. But read your Bible. But let me give you a tip here. Go over to Mardell's. They have a guide to translations of the Bible. Okay, look at that and go over there. Now, in addition, I'm taking up an offering after this because I'm going way beyond what I should have to do today. And it's hot in here. I'm tired. I'm hot. I'm uncomfortable. I saw it. God did something pretty amazing. He said, okay, I'm going to talk to these people in a language that they understand. And I'm going to let them see me, but in a form that won't kill them. No one can look on the face of God. Moses kind of had some dialogues with God, and he came down from the mountain. What happened? His face was shining. When the Apostle Paul encountered the risen Christ, what happened? He fell off his beast, whatever he's riding, and he was down for the camp for 3 days. St. John, when he encountered the risen Christ in Revelation, said, fell to the ground as a dead man. God is so incredibly awesome. Our senses can't take him in. That's why he came in the form of a human being, lived a perfect life, but experienced all the stuff we experience except for sin, died, rose again, and went back to heaven. If you have any questions about your faith, let me encourage you to read the book of Acts, and then go over and read Paul's account. I believe it's in Corinthians, or I think it's Corinthians, where Paul says, 2 of us saw him, 12 of us saw him, and by the way, there were 300 of us who saw him at one time. And if there's anybody out there that says that we didn't see him, raise your hand, let us know. And no one ever raised their hand. Why would those people go to the Roman Empire and go, we're following the risen Christ, when if you said that to the wrong people, you were in trouble? Oh man, I'm taking up an offering today. You people are getting a good sermon. You want a faith-based education? You getting it? Amen? You want to do any hymns, or have I got to do all those things like, love you, Jesus, love you, Lord, love you, Jesus, love you, Lord? You do that 7 times, maybe 11. I like those old hymns, Amazing Grace, all that stuff. Because I like them because you can yodel. Next time you're at church, they sing one of them old hymns, yodel it. Okay? Go Appalachian on them. Go hillbilly. A lot of those songs are from the old country. Anyway, what were we doing? Oh, we're going to run a query. Okay, I'm going to click create. Trust me, I'm as tired of you as you are of me. No, it's not true. I love every single one of you as if you were my own. Why did I say that? Okay, I'll click create. And if you look under the create, you're going to see a thing called queries. See that? And I'm going to click a thing called query design. Now there's a query wizard, but I don't use it because to me that says that we're somehow dealing with the devil or spirits. I've written Microsoft about this word wizard. I've asked them to take it out of any software we use, and they're not listening to me. And they did file a restraining order, but that's another story. So I'm going to use that query design, and it's going to say, okay, what do you want to get? And we're going to use the trustees table. And I'm going to click add, and I'm going to close that jewel. And then I'm going to get the last name, and then I want to find the city where they're at, and I want that, and I want the last names to be in alphabetical order, so I'll put them in ascending order. And you see the little thing over here that says run with a little red exclamation point on the left up there? Okay. Now, to make this work properly, you have to go, run, Forrest, run. How many of you have seen Forrest Gump? Great movie, isn't it? I've memorized several passages from it. My favorite is at the reflecting pool when she says, Forrest. He goes, Jenny, Forrest, Jenny. To me, that's Shakespeare. All right. So we're going to run this jewel. And there we are. We've done a query. Anybody have a question other than how did they let this lunatic in here? The truth is, I'm not sure how I came to be working here. Here's what happened. I was headed to another job, paid a lot more, cooler location than Oklahoma City. My car broke down, and they still have my car at the garage, and they will not give it back to me. It's been a long time. I'm just kidding you. This is where God has put me, and you obviously, people have done something wrong because I'm here to punish you. So that's true. All right. Well, we played around a little bit of an access. I'm not going to say those changes. We've done a mail merge. You know what to upload for hands-on number 4. And if it flew by fast, you got 2 resources. One is this video. 2, you have the step-by-step procedure there in pages 232 to 235 of the POTSI text. What can I say? So, we started at 12:30, didn't we? And we go to 3:30? Yeah, okay. I'm good. I can go. I can do it. I may be a little wobbly after about 2 o'clock. So we've come to that point in time where I ask a very important question. And what is that question? Exactly. My friends, have a good weekend. Make sure you upload your work. If you have any questions, send me an email. I'll get back to you in a week or 2. No, I'll answer your questions. Thank you much.
You just turned in the Word document, right?
Yeah.
I already